Hi, my name is Amy Roberts, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the Arizona State Constitution and initiatives and referendums. First, I'd like to define initiatives and referendums. Initiatives are voter-led proposed changes to the Arizona State Constitution or Arizona State laws, and they are voter-led and voter-approved. And referendums are also changes to the state constitution or state laws, but they are not led by voters, but ultimately voted upon by voters for approval. So to create an initiative, citizens would draft a amendment, and that would need, once that amendment was drafted, it would be put out for approval with a number of signatures. So there's a signature requirement for initiatives, and that is 15% of the total number of voters for a gubernatorial race. So 15% of eligible voters in a gubernatorial race, they have to have that number of signatures. And then for a statutory amendment, they would need 10%. So once those signatures are obtained, then they go, that measure is ballot worthy, and then it goes out to, it goes on the ballot, and then citizens vote and either approve or that initiative fails, that amendment fails. So the referendums, those are led by the legislatures. So the House and the Senate can draft an amendment and to the Constitution or to the state laws, and then that has to be approved by both houses, 2/3 majority, and then that goes on the ballot, and then that is ultimately it's lives or dies as a result of a majority vote by the Arizona voters. So they are in kind of comparing and contrasting the two. The initiatives are created by citizens and referendums through the legislature. According to Tori McClory's book, Understanding the Arizona Constitution, these initiatives can be handwritten and in basic language. Common everyday person can put together an initiative. Referendums, because they're often drafted by politicians and professionals and legal people that have more of a legal background, they are more refined and crafted. So initiatives require signatures to appear on the ballot for vote, whereas referendums do not. So let's talk about the positives and negatives about initiatives and also referendums. One of the positives about the initiative process is it allows voters to have a direct impact on how their government operates. The signature requirement is high for initiatives, which it takes considerable effort, which is both a positive and a negative. It takes a lot of effort, but then also it curtails any frivolous or knee-jerk reaction changes because of the time involved. So according to Arizona.gov, the number of signatures today that would be required for a constitutional amendment would be 383,926. For a statutory amendment, it would be 10%, and that today would be 255,949. So, and you actually probably should get more signatures than that, because some of those are going to be thrown out for being invalid signatures. So it is quite a lot of work. So referendums, one of the positives about them is they are more streamlined. It's easier to get them on the ballot, and they are so. And I'll talk a little bit more about what I think are some of the negatives of referendums, but that's one of the positives. Another negative that I thought of with initiatives is they are because they're not expertly crafted, they may have unintended consequences or create loopholes that were unforeseen by the people that were drafting them. So if initiative makes it to an approved amendment, it might be costly to fix and detrimental for the state. So referendums are much easier to pass, and they're actually the way that most of the constitutional and statutory changes have taken place over the years. So one of the ways I see referendums kind of being sort of abused, maybe even manipulative, if lawmakers don't think that their governor, well, so if they propose an amendment and it has to go, it can go one of two ways. They can choose to make it a referendum, or they can choose to go to the governor. So directly to the governor. So if they think it's going to be a veto, by the governor, they can make it into a referendum and pass it that way. So, but also they can manipulate the presentation of a controversial amendment, sort of let it die down and let the voters sort of forget what is happening with that. So kind of let things die a little bit and bring down the intensity, and then put it on the ballot again. They might, and this is an advantage too, lawmakers can put an initiative a referendum on the ballot to counteract an initiative that would be detrimental. So kind of having a little bit more balance in that process. So initiatives and referendums are at the heart of a direct democracy. They are at the very core led by the voters. Initiatives more so than referendums, but in both, the people have the final say, and they are an essential fabric to the state and the Constitution and their method of governance, and very valuable for how that state operates. Thank you.